Hey everyone, it's Drew here. I want to walk through today how to use Zoom. So if you're new to Zoom, you've never used it before, or if you have used it and you're still not quite sure what to do or you have some questions, this video is for you. What we're going to do today is we're going to walk through what to do before getting on a Zoom meeting. So what are the steps you need to take? Second, how to join a Zoom meeting. Third, the steps that you're going to need to take after joining a Zoom meeting. So, what do you do after you join a Zoom meeting? Fourth, how to participate in a Zoom meeting. So, hopefully, we'll be able to cover most of your questions that you have. But as always, if you need any assistance or have any questions, don't hesitate to contact us at Christ the King. What do you do before joining a Zoom meeting? Well, here are a few things to keep in mind. Okay, you can join a Zoom meeting in a number of different ways. You can either join it through your computer, and if you have a computer at home, it's best if you have a working microphone and a camera set up to your computer. So if you have done FaceTime or Skype with anyone or with relatives, then you should have a setup that's like that. If you don't, it's pretty affordable these days to be able to buy a camera that you can plug into your computer and a microphone. Generally, a lot of computers, you just plug it in and it works. A lot of laptops already come with microphones built into them, so you really don't have to do anything. So the first way is you can use Zoom through a computer. The second way is through a smartphone. So if you have a smartphone, that can sometimes be the easiest way to access Zoom because you've got the camera and the microphone built into the smartphone. And then the third way to access a Zoom meeting is through a landline phone or a non smartphone. So if all else fails and you don't have access to a computer or a smartphone, you can use just a regular phone to dial into a Zoom meeting. Now, when you use that option, you're not going to be able to see people, obviously, nor are they able to see you. You're only going to be able to hear their voice and they able to hear your voice. The other options with smartphones and computers, you can actually see other people's faces on the screen and they'll be able to see yours. All right, and we're going to look at an example of this in just a moment. But I just wanted to mention that as we begin. Now, what you're also going to want to do before joining a Zoom meeting is you're going to want to just make sure your microphone and your camera works if you're using a computer in particular. And one of the things you can do is you can actually test it out on Zoom. Zoom actually has an option, and I'll try to post a link here at the bottom of this video to that site where you can go to that website and test out if your camera and your video are working. So that's great. You don't have to feel the pressure of joining a meeting and having everything all set perfectly. You can test it out beforehand and just get that all worked out earlier. So I would recommend testing out your camera, testing out Zoom, testing out your microphone before you even get on a Zoom meeting or an event if you've never done Zoom before or if you're not comfortable with Zoom yet. And I will say this from the beginning, there's a lot we're going to go over, but once you get the hang of it, just like anything else, Zoom is really intuitive and really easy. So it's just that initial learning curve of just getting to know a few of the features of how to set it up. But after that, it's a piece of cake. Now, another thing to do before you get started is uh, to download the Zoom application. So if you're using Zoom on a computer or if you're using Zoom on a smartphone, you are going to need to download the Zoom application. It's free, so you don't have to pay anything for it, which is great. It's secure, it's safe, so you don't have to worry about downloading it. But how do you do that? Well, if you go to the Zoom website and it's zoom.us, scroll down to the very bottom, and here you'll see a link that says download way, way down here. And if you just click that, it's going to send you to the download page. You can actually download Zoom when you log on to your first meeting. It's going to prompt you. It's going to say, hey, you got to download Zoom. Want to download Zoom? Here's the link to download it. So you can download it that way. But again, if you want to get it in advance, you just go to their website here and you download it just like this. Now, if you're downloading Zoom from a mobile phone, a smartphone, if you have an iPhone, you're going to want to go to the App Store on your iPhone and search Zoom Cloud Meeting. Okay, so there's other apps named Zoom. You want the app that says Zoom Cloud Meeting, in the App Store for an iPhone or the Google Play Store if you have an Android phone. And then you just download the app. It's pretty simple, and it will be on your phone or on your computer, or your tablet for that matter too, if you have a tablet. Okay, so that's how you get started. Now, what's going to happen? How do you join an event? Let's say there's an event at Christ the King. We're meeting over Zoom. How do you join it? Well, you're going to get an email invitation. And so it's going to look something like this. You're going to see this invitation. It might be titled something different. This says, please join Zoom meeting in progress, but yours might be titled the name of the event or Zoom link or whatever it might be. And the most important thing to focus on is this link right here. It says join Zoom meeting. And when you click on that link, that's the doorway to get into the meeting. Okay, so you're going to want to click on that link, and you're going to want to save that link. Keep it in a safe place prior to that meeting. A couple other things I'll mention here before we click on that link is you have the meeting ID here, okay? And this is, if you're ever prompted to enter in the meeting ID, okay, because there are other ways to get on Zoom, but I'm just going to share with you the easiest ways, just because, why go with the more difficult, complicated ways to join Zoom when you can use the easy way? But there are ways where you go to the Zoom website, or you enter in the meeting ID, and you log in that way. But if you are ever prompted to enter the meeting ID, you've got it right here. Same with the password. So some meetings are going to have passwords, some aren't, but if it ever prompts you to enter in a password, you've got it right here. You can copy and paste it or just manually type it when Zoom asks you to enter in that password. You'll also notice that it gives you the information here to be able to access Zoom by a dial-in phone. So let's say you don't have a smartphone. You have a flip phone, or you have just a manual phone or a rotary phone, who knows, right? You can actually dial in this number. I dial in this number to New York, and then you're going to dial in the meeting number. It's going to prompt you, so you'll dial in that number, and then you'll dial in the password, and then you'll be able to connect to the Zoom meeting just over your phone, just over the audio. So again, no camera. You won't be able to see anyone. They won't be able to see you, but you'll be able to hear their voice, and they'll be able to hear yours. Okay. So I've never dialed in before, but from what I can tell, it should be pretty simple. All right. We've got the link here. We've got the information we need. So let's click it. And here we go. It brings me to this screen. Your screen might look a little bit different depending on your computer or depending on your smartphone or whatever device you're using, but I haven't downloaded Zoom yet. So I am going to go ahead and download that. It says, when system dialog prompts, click allow. I'm just going to go download and run Zoom. Now, if you have Zoom downloaded already, you can click launch meeting. It should take you there. But I'm going to download and run Zoom. So you're going to follow all the prompts to be able to install Zoom. Okay, so I just downloaded Zoom onto my computer, and now it's telling me to join a meeting. All right, so this is another way you can join a Zoom meeting. Like I said, there are multiple ways, and I can just click this, and oh, look, there's the meeting ID. I can enter in that meeting ID from the email. And notice I can put my name here. I can change my name, whatever I want. It says, remember my name for future meetings. So whenever I'm on Zoom again, it's going to put in Drew. And usually you want your audio connected and you want your video connected, so you don't have to enter in those things. But I'm actually going to go back to the meeting link. So let's say that I entered in the meeting ID, that number, and then I click join. I would go to that Zoom meeting. But I'm going to show you how to get there from the email link that we just had. So here I am. I'm back in the email. I'm going to click it. Now that I have Zoom downloaded onto my computer, do you want to allow this page to open zoom.us? Yes, I do. And it might just take a few moments to get connected. So one of the first things you're going to see before you enter a meeting is something like this, where it's going to ask you if you want to join with video or join without video. And usually you'll be able to see a picture of yourself on camera, so you can just see what you look like before you enter in the meeting if you're going to join with video. So I would recommend joining with video unless you need a little bit of privacy or you're just in the middle of doing something. You can join without video, but normally it's a good idea to join with video. And we'll click that. So the next thing you'll probably see is a window like this that says join with computer audio. And that just means you're enabling your audio so that people can hear you and you can hear them. All right, so you're going to want to click that. Now, If you want to test your speaker and microphone, you can do that as well by clicking on this. And that's usually a good idea if you're new to Zoom or you're not sure if your speaker or your microphone is really working. And so you just test it and it's just you. So you're not with anyone else. You're just kind of figuring out if your speaker and your microphone work. So that's a great thing to do if you're new to Zoom. But otherwise, we're just going to join with computer audio. So here I am. I made it to the Zoom meeting, and as you can see, I'm accompanied by two other guests right now. Apparently, we have Batman here, who's looking extra stoic today, and Father Shock. Father, how are you doing? I'm doing good. Thanks, Drew. Father, why is there a race behind you? I have no idea. So here it is. This is kind of what it looks like. Obviously, there's going to be real people. So here I am. I'm in the meeting. And if I go way up to the right here, you're going to notice it says speaker view or gallery view. So right now I'm in speaker view. So I can just see whoever's speaking, like Batman right now. But if I want gallery view, I'm going to see everyone. At least I think you can see up to 25 people at once on the screen. So that is really helpful. We'll go back to speaker view. Okay. Now, I want to point out a few things. You're in Zoom. What do? Well, one of your best friends is this toolbar down here. It's going to look a little different on your phone, but going to have similar icons. Okay. And the most important button is this one right here. It's the microphone button. It says mute. Okay. I'm going to push that. Now there's a red line through it, and I'm muted. So now Batman can't hear me. Father Shock can't hear me. No one can hear me because I'm muted. Now I can also stop my video if I want to. And I just click that button right there. Right? If I mute my video, no one can see me. Usually they'll only just see a blank screen with your name on it. Okay, but to re-enable my video, I'm just going to click that camera icon again, and here I am. I'm back. Whenever you need privacy, whatever reason, you can stop it. It's generally encouraged, though, to keep your video on just so everyone can interact together and see one another. Now, what about your microphone? When do you keep your microphone on? I think the general rule is when someone is presenting, you turn it off. You mute it just by clicking that button. There's the red cross, the red line through the microphone. Right? When you're in discussion, you can keep it on the microphone the whole time. If there's back and forth, especially if it's a discussion where maybe a few people are talking and you're listening in, you can mute the microphone. It really depends. If you have a lot of background noise, just kind of be mindful of that. And if there's a lot of background noise, other people can hear that on their computers or their smartphones as well. So that's a good time to mute yourself. And then you can unmute yourself, just like that, whenever you want to speak. It takes a little bit of practice, but again, not super complicated. And there are times when the host of the meeting, the leader, will mute everyone. So they've got the power to be able to do that. And they can mute everyone at once except themselves. So they can make that easier for people too. You don't have to worry too much about muting yourself. Now, one thing about the video, it is helpful if you're not too far away from the camera so people can see you, but also not too close to the camera either. But just the right distance. And also, not too dimly lit either, so you're not in the dark. Just being mindful of those kind of things as you're entering into a Zoom meeting. It's great, though, because you get to be in the comfort of your own home while being able to engage with people you know and new friends as well. So just to recap, the two most important tools, two most important functions that you're going to need to use are the mute function here, this microphone icon, and the video function, the stop video or start video function. Okay, that's how people are going to hear you and see you. So if you got that down, you pretty much got everything you need. There's a few other functions here. I'll explain those briefly, but not nearly as important as the mute and the unmute and the stop video, start video buttons. So you'll notice here there's a few more icons here at the bottom on your toolbar. This one says participants, so I can look and see who's in the meeting. We also have a chat icon here, so you can send messages to everyone if chat isn't enabled. Sometimes it's not enabled by the event. It just depends on the event or the meeting, but you will be able to send a message to everyone or to people privately. So you'll notice here I sent a message to Batman. I said, Batman, you're looking great today. Or you can write a message to everyone. So the way you do that is here I have Batman selected if I want to message Batman, or I select everyone if I want to select everyone. So why is that important? Well, maybe sometime you just need to send a message. right, to someone saying, hey, you know what, like I forgot my book, or do you have my extra copy? Or there are times when there are questions and answers, and it might make more sense to type in those questions rather than to say them out loud. So the chat is not used all that often, but it can be helpful. There's a share screen option. That's really not going to be applicable for most meetings or events. Usually the host is the one who's going to share their screen if they need to. And the host can share anything they want, whether it's a slide presentation or a video. And that's one of the reasons why Zoom actually is really cool. Okay, so that's how to participate in a Zoom meeting. Now, the other thing you might be wondering are, well, what about breakout groups? How does that work? So we see here we're in kind of a large group, well, large being the three of us, but let's imagine there were 25 people here. We'd be in a large group event. We'd see everyone and there'd be a presentation, but let's say there was going to be smaller group breakouts. Zoom has the option of being able to do that. And while I can't show you exactly how that's going to work right now, just imagine at one point in the meeting, what's going to happen is you are going to get something that pops up on your screen saying something to the effect of, would you join this group? And so you'll click yes, and you'll be sent to basically another Zoom meeting, a smaller Zoom meeting with a group of people from that meeting, just 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or however many people from that meeting will be meeting together. So if it was a group of 25 and you're dividing into 5 breakout groups, there's going to be 5 different Zoom meetings going on at once. What does that mean for you? Well, it just means you just got to, if there's a prompting that says join a group, you just click it. And you don't really have to do anything other than that. You don't have to open or reopen Zoom. So that's pretty easy and pretty simple. So breakout groups are another really nice feature of Zoom. Now, other thing I'll mention too is you've got the leave button here on the bottom of the screen. So if you have an emergency and you can't turn off your video or your house is on fire, just click that leave or turn off your computer or your smartphone or whatever, and that's how you leave the meeting. Otherwise, you're still on the meeting if you don't leave the meeting. If the meeting's over and you're ready to leave, you can leave then too. So that's how you leave. Now let's say you accidentally leave the meeting. You click on that button, you didn't mean to. Well, you just go back to that email link and you can join the meeting again. No problem. So if you accidentally click on it, don't worry, that's okay. So now you know how to join a Zoom meeting, how to participate in a Zoom meeting. So you're all set. Well, hopefully you enjoyed this presentation and got something out of it. Again, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact us.